Hello, welcome back. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a psychic medium, energy healer, animal communicator, and spiritual teacher. And today I want to talk to you about how to effectively communicate your needs. So typically, if you struggle with communicating your needs within relationships, this is all relationships. It's typically because you were taught that your needs don't matter, that other people's needs matter more than yours. So you have learned to put everyone else above yourself to a point where you probably don't even know what your needs are. So the first step to being able to in a healthy way effectively communicate your needs is to figure out first and foremost what are they. So ask yourself, what is it that I need in relationships to feel safe, secure, nurtured, loved, all of those things. What is it that I need from other people? Is it honesty? Is it trust? Is it time? Is it, whatever it is? Make sure that you understand exactly what it is that you need. Because I'm going to give you a little bit of information on the human being. So for me, let's say for an example, if you and I are in like a friendship, I can only love you in a way that I need to be loved because it's all I know. I can only value you in a way that I value myself because that's all I know. Everything that I give to other people is I'm only able to do that because that's what I know how to do for myself because that's what I want in return. The thing is though is that sometimes that doesn't translate well. So I may be someone who is, very trustworthy within my relationships, but I find that I struggle with finding people that I can trust because I may hold myself to a different level of trust than what other people do with themselves. And they're not necessarily, that doesn't make them wrong and me right. It doesn't make me wrong and them right. It just means that they can only meet me for where they are and for who they are and their experiences, right? And that's why not everyone is going to be a perfect fit in your life, is because, like, I am hardcore when it comes to respect. You disrespect me, I really have no use for you. And I'm very hardcore on respect because I give a very high level of respect. And some people can measure up to that and some people can't. And again, it doesn't mean that the people that can't measure up to that aren't worthy, or aren't valuable, or aren't, all the like aren't deserving of love. It just means that they're not necessarily in alignment with who I am. The people that are in alignment with who I am typically meet my level of respect, or sometimes they even surpass it. So the first step into knowing, or into being able to effectively communicate your needs in relationships, is to know what they are. The second part of that is being able to verbalize them. So if you feel like one of your needs hasn't or isn't being met, it is up to you. Don't assume that people are just going to know what you need. They're not going to. They know what they need, but they're not going to know what you need until you tell them. So you need to have an adult sit down conversation and say, hey, this is what I need in this relationship, and have that conversation with the person that you're in this relationship with. Communication is key. You've got to be able to express this verbally of what it is that you need. Now, typically people, like, if this is just something new where you are expressing your needs within the relationships, I would hope that anyone that you have to talk to, and sit down and express to them what your specific needs are, I would hope that they would all be very accepting of it. But I do want to warn you, people that will typically like cross lines and not value you, and not like they will completely disregard your needs for the sake of their own. Those people are going to be the ones that have a problem with you expressing your needs. They're going to have a problem with you asking something of them because the entire time that you've been in a relationship with them, you've always given, given, given. And now that you're expecting something back from them, they're just not in a place to be able to do that. So this may end up actually, like, and I'm just being 100% honest and transparent, this may end up losing relationships, for you, unfortunately. Unfortunately, but fortunately, because, you know, you deserve to be valued and nurtured, and you deserve to have your needs met within your relationships, right? That's the very least that our relationships are supposed to give us, um is to help us, like, to have our value, not to have our value. We should have our own value, but to add to our value, to add to who we are. And someone who's constantly dragging you down is not going to be adding to who you are. They're not going to be adding anything necessarily good to your overall experience of life. So sometimes it's okay to let them go. Actually, all the times it's okay to let them go, because you don't want people that are going to be um, completely one sided in a relationship, because it's not healthy. So after you communicate your needs, the only other step is to make sure that those needs are met. And I see this a lot with my clients where they're like, okay, Lori, I figured out what my needs are. I verbalized them to this person, and now this person just like disregards them. And I was like, okay, well, are you standing by them? Like, it's the same as setting a boundary. If you set a boundary and somebody continually crosses that boundary and you're letting them, well, that's the problem. I mean, yeah, them crossing the boundary is the problem too, but your part of this is allowing them to do that without correction, right? So it's the same goes for communicating your needs. If you communicate your needs and the person just completely keeps just like scoffing them off or whatever, then you need to stand up and say, hey, you know what? I've communicated this to you before. And I mean, it might just be because it's a new thing. It takes them some time to remember. They're just in the old habit of the way the relationship used to be, and they haven't fully stepped into creating new habits based on what your needs are now. That now that you've communicated them, and that's okay. I mean, like, there's a certain level of being understanding and giving some grace through this process, and allowing other people to make mistakes and mess up, and being forgiving for sure. But if they're consistently not even like trying to to make any like slight changes to help you to build a healthier relationship, then chances are they're just showing you that they don't actually value you in the way that you deserve to be valued. So at that point, you have to make the decision on if you are going to keep them in your life and at what capacity, and so on and so forth. So expressing your needs within a relationship really is not hard. Um, it's just basically something that you have to learn. It's like developing a new habit, right? Like if you want to start exercising, it's going to feel awkward at first. It's going to feel hard at first. You may not know what to do to make to well, what exercises do I need to do to build muscle here, or what exercises do I need to do to have this happen? You don't necessarily know what to do to get the result that you want, but it takes time and practice, and it's going to take time and practice for the person on the other end too. The people that love you, the people that value you, the people that are meant to be in your life, if you go to them and say, hey, you know what? I don't feel that our relationship is 100% healthy, and I would really, really, really love to have a healthy relationship with you. And, I'm completely open to your feedback, but I'm just going to let you know right now what I need out of this relationship. And I'm fully open to hearing what you need out of this relationship. Because telling somebody what your needs are is only half of it. Make sure you're open to hearing what their needs are as well. And if they're willing to build that with you, you have someone that's true in your life. You have someone that's meant to be there. You have someone that's willing to put into the work that it takes into having a healthy relationship with you. You got to be clear on what those needs are first. You got to be clear on what is an absolute hell no, not going to happen, not going to tolerate. Know what all your parameters are before you go into that conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you back here next time. Until then, take care. Bye for now.